I've heard Persona 5 be praised for years, and I haven't decided to play it until now. So, am I gonna give my thoughts on it as one of my first JRPGs with the turn based combat and unique visuals? No, dude. Palaces and mementos are lame. My first time playing this game, it resonated and personally touched me in a way no other game has before. Because I could finally date any high school girl I want. Okay, well, there is one big problem with this game. As a teenage boy, I only have a few years left of my life to enjoy these games before I turn into an adult, and romancing these teenage girls becomes a problem. All the characters are like 16 and I can't be a grown-ass superhero coming back from my 9 to 5 to have a smile on my face when I romance the student council president. Even though the majority of the Persona fan base is adults, I don't know, I'll have to ask like a scientist or psychologist the morals of it. But for now, I'm gonna have to play all the Persona games while I'm still young, or never touch them again, because everyone knows there's no other reason to play these games. The newest Atlus game is gonna be a Persona 4 remake, and I looked up the romances for that game, and I saw a whole toddler. So I don't even know if it's moral to play the series at any age, really. But despite all of this, Persona 5 is the only game to my knowledge where you can romance adults. So, if romancing teenagers is bad, then romancing adults is good, right? Well, it's almost just as problematic because if you're an adult with a healthy mind, not comfortable with romancing teenagers, well, that's also lower morals, not on the adult side, but to the main character, Joker, who's a teenager. So if you play Persona as an adult, you're stuck in the middle place where you can't go right or left without breaking some moral code. But also, if we're being honest with ourselves, if you're an adult romancing the adult character, no one's gonna care because they're more worried about the adults romancing the Persona 4 toddler. But also, I'm not adult, so I can experience escapism at the best time possible to romance any anime high schoolers I want as a high schooler. So I'm gonna take advantage of what little time I have left. This might sound completely unrelated, but halfway through the game, I bought Persona 3 Reload for me to play immediately right after this game. And I even reinstalled Persona 4 that I bought 4 years ago and quit after 2 hours. Because really, I don't care for the female cast of this game at all. They're a little annoying characteristically, and from the very beginning of this game, the most poignant thought on my mind as a first time player throughout the whole game, I just wish there were gay romance options. And hey, if Atlus is homophobic, then $1 million idea just popped up in my mind for you to start the game as either a female protagonist or male protagonist where you can romance the opposite sex. And all they would have to do is record unisex pronouns when talking to the main character. Might I add, this wish is coming from the world's most straightest and highest testosterone man that has ever walked this earth. So that's pretty impressive. It's just that in the Phantom Thieves, Yusuke, Ryuji, even Akechi are individually 100 times better than all of the girls combined. I would die to romance Akechi. He's so handsome. And Yusuke is one of the most charming and funniest characters in the game. I don't think I could romance Ryuji though. I love him because he's a bro. And Atlus, this would also greatly help the Persona female audience, which is actually already shockingly high because this game is basically like a male power fantasy where you save the day and date hot girls. The Persona community is nice. It shows we're all human, and for every 2 incels, births 1 femcel. Speaking of which, before I probably even knew about Persona 5, years ago I would see this ginger anime girl in some fire attire. So coming into this game, I thought maybe she would be a contender on my Love Island, but comment sections about her would talk about her being a criminal and weird romance pick. I thought, that's kind of weird because everyone in the game is 16, so I was quite confused. But now that I know, I get it. She's a shut-in femcel, if you would, and she acts like you're raising a lost puppy, but the most damning evidence is that the game itself implies that she's your non-blood sisterly figure. They imply this, but they also still have a romance option for her because it's Japan, I guess. So I marked that one off the board because her questline is you being her brotherly / kind of fatherly figure, teaching her through life. She does still have the most iconic outfit though. Also, in the beginning of the game, I had my eyes on Makoto while she was stalking me. I wanted to know more. Maybe she's the one. But as soon as her arc began and she joined the Phantom Thieves, I was turned away for no particular reason. I think it's because of her pants that cut off at her calf and she's wearing no socks. You see this? See how much exposed this is? Think of how uncomfortable that must be. I can't marry a girl like that, dude. What the hell? Also, she's just a tad bit corny. But also maybe I don't like Makoto because I'm butthurt because she called me disheveled and wouldn't let me do more of her confidant because I wasn't charming enough. For An and Haru, I just don't care. I didn't do An's confidant at all for the whole 100-hour game because if female Yusuke was an option, I'd be in love. So, for my bachelor game, this leaves no contenders within the main vanilla cast of the Phantom Thieves. Because I had my eye on 2 romances in the game that are different from the average. Going back to the moral argument, it's probably more moral for an adult to romance an adult even when they're playing as a teenager. But what are the moral implications if a teenager plays as a teenager to romance the adults? Because when I walked into that clinic, there were bells on a hill, but I never heard them ringing till there was Takemi. And then later you find out your hot teacher is also a maid, which is kind of weird that she calls me master, but it's your hot teacher. And that one scene during the Hawaii trip was magical, dude. This is like the most well-crafted game ever because who doesn't want to date their hot teacher and even hotter doctor? Also, wildcard, no one talks about her, but I was also chatting up Oya. She's an alcoholic journalist with a bob. What more can you ask for? I think it definitely seems like as a teenager going for only adult romances over any others could be read as a deeper character trait on my end, but I don't think it's that deep. I think most of the other romance characters are not that interesting. This girl took 100k from me, and now I have to go into Mementos. I would rather her take another 100k from me for me not to go into Mementos. I hate Mementos. And if I married this girl when I'm 64 losing my hair many years from now, I'll still never forget that she did this, and I'll view her with disdain forever. Hifumi's cool, I guess. I just don't really care or know a thing about shogi to be captivated by her. It's like lamer chess, so that makes her lamer. As for my main mature lovers, I saw a Chris Hansen interview where he said most female predators are a teacher and student relationship, and that brought me back to reality and left a bad taste in my mouth because the Kamoshida arc is that, but reversed. So as hot as my teacher is, how am I going to bring her back home to mom and dad and explain this? And for Takemi, the most painful moment of my life was when I had to turn her down on rank 9, and I refused to do rank 10 to be reminded of what could have been. But I turned her down because I'm staying loyal and saving my heart for someone else. The whole reason this game captivated me in the first place was the romances, and I have yet to achieve this all because I have been waiting for the perfect bride. The last possible romance you could think of achieving in this whole game. I'm like 75 hours in, and for all 75 hours, I've been wearing this chastity belt to stay loyal to her. Ever since I first saw her in the tutorial. Right now, I don't even know when it's possible to romance Kazumi. And I'm thinking I'm gonna live a lonely lifetime, but if she wants me to, I will. Why have I constrained myself for so long? Well, all it took was one screenshot I saw of her with glasses and her hair down. And that is all I need for me to die for this girl. She's kind of robotically proper, but I don't care. When I saw her legs in the tutorial 10 minutes into the game, that is what gave me the strength to run another 100 hours of this game. And I'll do another 100 hours if I have to, just to romance her. So, in the next transition, I will have achieved my goal. God sent me here on this green earth as a privileged, able-bodied human with a PC and copy of Persona 5 Royal to achieve. I will tell you, if I fancied my chances and if my abstinence for Kazumi was worth it. I just beat Persona 5.
Checkmate.
He said checkmate. Turns out my crush wasn't on Kazumi, but Samiri. And when she goes back to her old self with her glasses and hair down, she captured my love. I was hypnotized. I did it, dude. This is the happiest moment in my life. I've never been happier. I've never been closer to a woman in my life. This is the most intimate moment of my years of living. We're gonna be together forever. Oh, that's so true. Dude, thank God you're in a 3D anime girl. Oh, I would cry. But that conniving broad ended up keeping her hair up and throwing her glasses away at the end of her arc anyways. So, in conclusion, it's a Brokeback Mountain situation because every day while my wife is doing gymnastics, I clench onto Akechi's glove, reminded of my one true lover, now lost. Also, yeah, I'm a real Persona head now. I'm gonna play 3 and 4 like right now. Okay, bye.